We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 172 of the All Dolphins podcast. We are live here on Saturday, December 23rd, 2023. And yes, we are. What?
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Oh, look at you, Brenna. Bonjour, bonjour tout le monde. Ça va?
Come on.
Oh,
You're going to hit me with French?
Got to play that card. Absolutely. French Canadian, no less.
All right. Okay.
Let me try the French from Paris.
Voulez-vous coucher avec soi ce soir?
Yeah, no, thank you. Not in the least. Bonjour tout le monde.
It's literally the only French thing I know how to say.
Yeah, I hope you know what it means. I'm going to assume you know what it means.
Do you want to sleep with me?
Tonight, correct.
Tonight. Oh, damn. That doesn't work with men. My bad.
No, correct. That's why I said no, thank you. Tempting offer.
Another French saying.
Où sont les toilettes?
What about toilets?
Toilet. Where are the bathrooms?
Okay. Look at me.
So on that note, as I was saying, due to the overwhelming majority of responses still in favor of the looking backs and the historical stuff.
No. Are we really going to continue to do that in the 200s?
We're going to find something. People like their Dolphins history, and that's what I'm here for because I'm old. And I have said this before. The first NFL game I ever saw was Christmas Day, 1971 at my grandfather's house. Dolphins Chiefs, double overtime. Dolphins win 27-24 in the longest game in NFL history.
Hold on, wait a minute. The Dolphins Titans game wasn't the longest in NFL history?
That was the longest in terms of time span. But in terms of actual game time, it's still Dolphins Chiefs 1971, 27-24 double overtime. Gary Preman wins it. Sends the Dolphins to the AFC Championship game. They beat Baltimore 21-0, and then they get smoked by Dallas in the Super Bowl. Today, number 72. I'm going to skip that today because I feel like it. Yes. Instead, we did. I forgot I had my list here. Bob Hines. Remember the 72 Dolphins? We did that the first time go around. I could mention Ryan Ely. I could mention Vernon Carey. However, I'm going to do it on this date in Dolphin history, December 23rd, 1973. In the first round of the playoffs, the AFC playoffs, the Dolphins spanked the Cincinnati Bengals 34-16 on their way to Super Bowl title number 2. And I'm going to bring it up to make my point once again, as much as it might offend some of those who look at 7-0 perfect season, nobody else has ever done it, that I will still stand to this day from my memory, from the historical research I've done, the 73 team actually was better than the 72 team. And my last point of argument to the judges, in the playoffs in 72, the Dolphins beat Cleveland by 6. Game they didn't clinch until a late interception. They won the AFC Championship game by 4, and they won the Super Bowl by 7, albeit partly due to that Garrow gaffe. In 73, the Dolphins won their playoff games by 18, 17, and 17. That's domination. So, okay.
I have no opinion on either because I never saw them play.
It's all good. I saw it. And to be perfectly blunt, the 1973 Super Bowl at the end of that season was insanely boring. It was great if you were a Dolphins fan because they just routed. But I think Bob Greasy might have thrown 7 passes the entire game. It was Zonka, kick, a little bit of Morris, Zonka, and then smother the Vikings offense. It was boring, but it was a methodical domination.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking about methodical domination.
Nice segue. I like it.
Yeah. I've done radio for a year or a decade. Speaking about methodical domination, I think that this week of NFL games is the best week of NFL games on the entire schedule, just because of primarily the 2 absolute haymakers of games, which is San Francisco, Baltimore. And, it's funny that we bring this, and then Dolphins, Miami. So I cut to the chase.
You mean Dolphins, Dallas?
Yes, Dolphins, Dallas.
Dolphins, Miami would be a hell of a game, actually. The offense versus defense, that would be a good game. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't realize this, that the Ravens are playing Monday night in San Francisco. Not only will they lose 1 day of rest, but they'll lose 2 days of rest. Because, when you play Monday night, that your body has one less day to recover. Then when you do a cross-continent trip, your body has one less day because you're flying 6 hours. It's 3 hours check-in, flying 6-7 hours, 3 hours check out. Maybe you sleep the whole next day. So already Tuesday's gone. Wednesday's your day off. They might claim Tuesday to be their day off, which is, come on, you don't even have, your body starts to recover on Wednesday. Now, generally, I'm told it takes at least 4 days for your body to recover from an NFL game, which is the equivalent of actually being in a car wreck. So you're going to begin practice for the week for the Miami Dolphins on Thursday in terms of teaching players the game plan, installation, things of that nature. Practice on Friday, just like the Miami Dolphins did for their one practice that they had against for the Jets. Walk through on Saturday. Man. And then, mind you, your body generally before kickoff has 4 days to recover, which is just the bar of what your body needs. Not because understand when you play on Sunday, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to recover. Friday, you're feeling like yourself. Saturday, you're feeling great. Sunday, you put your body through the car wreck again.
So you're saying the Dolphins are going to win because Baltimore's playing Monday night?
And keep in mind.
Whoa, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. No, don't try to trap me. Don't you can't telling me. You can't do what I do.
I'm learning from you, Omar. I'm learning.
What I am saying is, and keep in mind, you know styles of football. You're an educated man. You know styles of football. And you know there are certain teams that I like primarily because they play the style of football I like. 49ers, Ravens, Steelers, Tennessee. And those are the teams that play that I'm going to punch you in the mouth. And just keep punching you until you quit. And so two of those teams are going up against each other. Like there will be bodies on the floor. And
possibly
like you might be walking into a ideal situation if you're the Miami Dolphins, even though it's a road game. Only way it could potentially be better is if it was a home game.
Completely agree with the point that if the Dolphins were going to play at Baltimore, which is what they had to do based on the schedule, it could not fall better for them facing them after they play the 49ers on the Monday night game. Completely agree with you. However, because there's always a however. I think the stats used to be a gambling tip that you would always go against a road team coming off a Monday night game. Going through puberty here, sorry. In this particular case, we're looking at the Ravens being at home. And yes, they have to do the cross-country travel. And is it a little benefit to the Dolphins? Absolutely. Will it make the difference between a win or a loss? And I don't. The other thing too is I don't know if San Francisco offensively is more about misdirection and all that good stuff, kind of like the Dolphins
line.
Look at what they do offensively. It's a whole lot of misdirection, more so than okay, we're here, you're there, we're coming straight at you. Like Tennessee, like Baltimore.
You ever watch Trent Williams play?
Yeah, I have watched it, and I've watched the 49ers play. And I'm speaking not from my butt in this particular instance, but actually because that's what they do. They're about misdirection and deception and all that. Where you know what they try to do also, and this is a genius concept that for some reason escapes some offensive coordinators, they try to get their players in space. Imagine that.
Come on. The Dolphins try to get their players in space.
Omar, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
I hear analysts talk about that. Like, no, you want to throw in traffic. Anyway.
Devontae Parker wants you to throw in traffic.
Well, he's got no choice anyway because he doesn't create any space. Oops, I'm sorry.
I mean, he does bring it down, though.
Oh, he's an excellent. Chris Carter was kind of like that. Although Chris Carter was a much better route runner, but his forte was catching the ball in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
We are, as we're live, and it's about 1:41, so we don't have the Saturday roster moves. I wouldn't expect anything overly dramatic in terms of
Ethan Bonner, and I'm gonna go.
squad elevations.
And I'm gonna go with. Sorry.
Ethan Bonner, and we'll go to while Omar tends to some business here. I will go ahead and look at some of these. Brandon Marshall catching in traffic was his jam. Yeah, I'll go along with that. That's fine. Devontae Parker, Sammy Parker. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Devontae Parker, Sammy Parker, LOL. The good one, Sam. That was a reference to one of the national talk show hosts, the conversation between Shannon Sharp and Dan Orlovsky, where they were talking about the fact that Tua had nobody to throw to until Tyreek showed up, where Dan Orlovsky was on the side of Tua, and Dan Orlovsky was wrong, actually, I think he argued about Jalen Waddle not being on the team before Tyreek showed up. Wrong. Jalen Waddle showed up in 2021. And Tyreek, of course, showed up in 2022. And somebody called Devontae Sammy Parker. I don't know if it was Shannon Sharp. I think it was Shannon Sharp who did. So let's look at some of these other questions. From Fan, how was Rashad Jones' tenure here in Miami in the media's eyes? One of my favorite players to watch. That's an interesting question. I think some of us, and Omar and I think are among the two, probably would give the most respect to his performance with the Dolphins during the 2010s. To me, he's clearly either the second best or third best Dolphin players in that decade, behind Cameron Wake, was a clear number one, and then Mike Pouncey would be there along with Rashad Jones. Where, as far as did Rashad get his full due from everybody in the media down here? I don't know. But I know us two right here, the two guys right here.
No, everybody wanted Devontae Parker to play ahead of him. And
Omar, we're talking Rashad Jones here.
Rashad Jones. I thought you meant Rashard Matthews. My bad.
No, the question, you have the question there, was how is Rashad Jones' tenure viewed in the eyes of the Miami media?
You want the truth?
No, lie. Go ahead and lie. This is going to be the lying episode.
Lie. Nobody gave Rashad the respect he deserves. Who gave Rashad the respect he deserved?
I think you and I did.
Yeah, that's about it. And everybody, when he had the feud during the Gase era, defensive coordinator's name escapes me. He's now defensive coordinator for Houston.
Matt Burke. Love Matt Burke.
Yeah. When he had was it Matt Burke that he had the feud with?
That part I don't remember.
I think it was. Where he had the feud with a defensive coordinator and basically told him he's not going back in the game. What fans don't realize, that is what people will cement Rashad's career with, along with him making game-changing plays or impact plays. But Rashad wasn't the media darling. He wasn't we're gonna sell the franchise with Rashad, because Rashad was a little bit hood.
What's the word?
Hood?
Bold. Brash.
Bold. Okay. Rashad was a little bit selfish. He was. And I think I'm sorry. And I know this is probably going to upset some hardcore Dolphin fans who think all this team bullshit is real. But in this league, to be successful and to have longevity and to get your money, you have to be selfish. I promise you, Mike McDaniels is going to selfishly shake down Steve Ross for a contract extension at the end of the season. And
if it goes well, without question.
Oh, he's going to do it no matter what.
Okay, I can't help myself, Omar. You know me. Shelby Jordan. Tua had Parker to throw to. Left. Go, Shelby. Go back and look at the tape from 2019 and tell me Devontae Parker was garbage. Guys, stop with that garbage, please.
Devontae Parker was not garbage. He wouldn't still be a starter in the NFL if he was. What Devontae Parker wasn't was a good route runner, and he's never been a good route runner.
Right. Second half of 2019, he was balling.
Second half of 2019. Okay, I don't remember that, but
Okay,
I'll take your
again,
word.
Shelby, go look it up before you make comments like that. So
2019. Oh, with
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick. I'll take your word for it. There was one year he was really good. I can't remember which year it was, but
2019.
was it 2019?
It's 2019. Trust Uncle Al.
I'm gonna pull a Poupard. Go ahead. Continue.
Look it up. Go ahead. Hold on. Ryan Laporto, thank you. Sponsoring a movie night where Poop and Omar get together and watch A Few Good Men and The Last Dragon. Merry Christmas, guys.
A Few Good Men used to be a movie that I would actually watch when it came on television. You know, back in the days when you didn't have cable and there wasn't 2,000 channels, when you had 8 channels.
Yes.
And you know, things came on TV on a regular basis, and whenever it's like Shawshank Redemption, you just watch it over and over and over and over again. You're right. 2019 was the year he balled. 1,200 yards, 1,202 yards, 9 touchdowns. And you know why he balled? Now that you make me remember it, that's because Ryan Fitzpatrick had no problem throwing into traffic. 0.
Correct.
Like, yeah, he had brass balls. He had 0 problem throwing into traffic.
Spare me with you never had receivers.
Yeah, but I think he was hurt to his first year. I think he was hurt. You know, Devontae, come on, he was always hurt.
It's a good guess, regardless.
Yeah, yeah. No matter what season it is, it's a good guess that he was hurt that year.
Okay. And this is a case of somebody maximizing his receiver's talents. And like it or not, in his first couple of years, Tua wouldn't be throwing into traffic 50-50 balls.
Oh, yeah, Tua absolutely.
He didn't want to do that. So he
wasn't not throwing into traffic now. I don't think so.
I think he's a little bit more inclined. So this isn't a case of the receiver sucks. It's a case maybe of the QB receiver tandem not being a good fit.
Yes, no, it was not a good QB receiver tandem. I thought it would be. It was not. And that's part of the reason why I learned that Devontae was a horrible route runner. Like, Tua needs you to run your good routes and do your assignment. Devontae was all over the place.
Devontae is like, I'm going to be over there. Just throw it and I'll catch
just throw it. Guy will be draped all over me. Just throw it. I'll get you the PI or the reception. Like, yeah. And hey, it worked. It worked for him. He's still in the league. Is he close to? Let me see what he's close to.
Oh,
Devontae is 4 receptions away from 400 receptions. He scored 27 touchdowns, and he's been in the league for 9 seasons now.
Correct.
Next year, which he'll more than likely play, will be his 10th season in the NFL. And I say this to Dolphin fans all the time, especially in the Ted Dean argument. If a guy hits double digits in his career, I don't care what he does. He could be Justin Bethel, where he's a 12-year special teams career player. If he hits 10 years double digits, he's had a phenomenal career.
Whoa, too much. No.
What?
Too much for me. Phenomenal career. The guy's never made the Pro Bowl, even though the Pro Bowl.
Phenomenal career. If you hit double digits, you have had the way this league is structured and made and designed. If you make it double digits.
In the spectrum of all college football players aspiring to have an NFL career, sure. In the spectrum of NFL players, if you play 10 years, but you're never an impact player or a difference maker, which I would argue Parker was in the second half of 2019, phenomenal is too strong for me. I bring up Eric over here because you share my son's first name, Princess Bride, and it says, I'm going to say this and duck, insanely overrated movie. Okay, I said it.
I don't even know if I've ever watched it.
Everybody told me just how awesome it was. I watched it and I was like, okay, okay.
Where are we at? Let's go.
Go ahead.
What's the reason? What would be the reasons we win or lose the game? I'm going to start off by saying turnovers are the reason that you lose the game. I'm going to say Austin Jackson not being in there, and then Micah Parsons just absolutely wrecking the game would be a factor and a reason why you lose the game. I'm going to say Liam Eichenberg regressing and you having to replace him with Jonathan Harrison, who's now in his second week, but doesn't necessarily have chemistry with Tua or understand your offense. That could be the reason why you lose the game. Or the secondary just gets carved up by Dak Prescott, who is arguably a top 5 NFL quarterback in the league this year.
And the concern there kind of is greater because probably we're thinking that Javon Holland is not playing.
Yeah, no, well, I don't think we're thinking. I think we're pretty certain Javon Holland's not playing.
Stephen S. Chris Brooks status. He's playing. He's not even on the injury report. He's been activated, so he is playing.
And they absolutely need him on help on special teams. Don't be surprised if Jeff Wilson is inactive and Chris Brooks is active. And don't think that's because Jeff Wilson is a inferior back to Chris Brooks, even though somebody on this podcast might believe that. But his name rhymes with Scoop. I will say this. Chris Brooks is definitely needed on special teams. He will be playing because special teams has the fact that all these starters are all these special teams guys are now in starting roles or prominent roles means your special teams gets watered down. Chris Brooks is going to inject life into that unit.
Completely agree. And no, I'm not at the point where I'd say Chris Brooks is better than Jeff Wilson. I think he's got
What?
I think he might have more upside. The other factor too is that let's not pretend like the running game now is not Mostert and Achane, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Jeff Wilson's gotten like a little sprinkle of carries the last.
He's got like 3 carries the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See, I say these things knowing that Poop is going to look them up. Do you see how this works? You see how this relationship works?
I'm sorry, what happened? I missed it.
I say these things knowing that Poop is going to look it up.
I'm going to look what up.
How many carries Jeff Wilson's had the last 2 weeks?
Oh no, I'm not going to look it up. I do know. I don't know for a fact. It's very, very few. And
you're not going to look it up.
No, I don't feel like it. Julian or Julian, I don't know how you pronounce it. Sorry. What will it take for Poupart to love Tua? I love Tua already. It's just some of his irrational fans I don't like. You guys are never understanding this. Have nothing.
What will it take for you to say he's elite? Tua is an elite quarterback and deserves a $50 million a year contract.
Omar, how about you answer that? Omar, you already answered that question, and you said he's not elite yet because he has.
Yes. What will it take for you to say Tua is elite?
Same here.
Huh?
Same here. Finish out the season like the MVP caliber player you were through most of the season. Now when it's crunch time,
it's not just that for me. I need playoff wins. I need at least one. Uno.
But again, and for me, it's not about he could completely ball out in a playoff game and they lose because the running back fumbles twice or the defense has a bad day. That to me would not take anything away from Tua. Mm-hmm. I need to see an elite performance from the quarterback position. The closest he's come, again, at this time of year, the closest he's come is Buffalo last year.
In the loss?
Where he played well, except that the Dolphins had the ball, 6 minutes left in a tie game. They could not go ahead and score. They had to punt, and Josh Allen kept making play after play after play on third down, drove him down the field for the game-winning field goal in the last play of the game. That's elite.
Okay, so you need an elite performer. You need him to put his team on his back like a book bag and carry them. Don't even need a win.
Correct. The end result, it doesn't, because you know me how I feel about wins and losses.
And I don't care what you said. That backpack crap, you can keep it. Give me a win. Give me a playoff win.
Okay, so how about, for example, Pittsburgh game last Sunday night? Was that a win that you would be proud of Tua on that one? Remember that Sunday night game last year against Pittsburgh? First game back after the concussion.
The quarterback like gift wrap.
Well, correct. The Dolphin defense had 3 picks, and the Steelers dropped about 3 picks as well. They won 16-10. It's a win. And for those who are I guess scolded for using the slave to it, but those who are shackled to win-loss to gauge a quarterback, that's a 1-0 for Tua, even though he played like crap.
Okay.
And he played, to me, 7 times better in that Buffalo game. And guess what? They lost because Josh Allen was just over the top. And no, I'm not in love with Josh Allen because I know it's coming. Although I do respect the hell out of his game and he's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Big arm.
Maybe, and he's got a big arm. Yes, maybe that makes me in love with him. Who knows?
Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Glad that you guys are back on the court sides. Omar on the tomorrow we'll be on opposite sides intentionally. I never really thought of it as a thing. Like,
and I think it's completely dependent on who creates the channel first.
I think it's dependent on, it's dependent on who like logs it, because literally I could remove both of us and put us back in the order that people are comfortable with. But and this podcast is only for you folks. So if you want us on one set side, we'll make it happen.
But why I'm curious as to why is it that it discombobulates a lot of people, because I've seen that comment quite a bit. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea. Let's get to this one. Over the years, some Finns teams have been road warriors and others want to be home. What do you think the biggest variable is that coaching, specific players, or schemes? For this team, the biggest variable is Tua does a lot of stuff at the line and makes a lot of calls at the line and makes a lot of audibles at the line. And that requires you to hear them. That requires him to be able to communicate. And it's not hand signals, he's talking to you. That does not work on the road. And I've said that consistently all season, and nobody can, and it has been admitted to me. And nobody, what? I know.
And when they're out of the other for a lot of people.
And the Dolphins team knows it's a factor. And also they like the crowd noise on defense. That helps them. So at home, you get silence on offense, crowd noise on defense, help. On the road, you get noise on offense, hindrance, and silence for the opposing offense on defense, hindrance. So that explains it. Now, there have been some Dolphins teams that have been road warriors, and I honestly thought that those teams they just hated their homes, their lives at home, and just were just excited about going on the road.
My answer to the question is because you want to. I don't know that we can lump in other teams because the issues were different, and this is a different team, and this is the most talented team the Dolphins have had. I want to say it
ever.
Oh no.
Offensively.
Yeah.
And
don't go crazy with the stats. Book still to be written. The 84 team, as it stands right now, was more explosive than this team.
I think I need to see a Poupard piece on this.
Book still to be written. Okay, let's move on to Nuclear Nick. Thank you very much, Nuclear Nick.
Holy crap, Nuclear Nick. Happy holidays to you, my brother.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Been watching most of the season, but never caught a live until now. Just wanted to show my support for the content. Wish you a Merry Christmas, y'all. My only question is, are the Dolphins winning the Super Bowl by 2 or 3 touchdowns? Fins up, baby.
If they got to go through San Fran to win the Super Bowl.
Omar, seriously?
What?
Nuclear Nick's generous contribution. It's not 3 touchdowns, Nick. It's 4 touchdowns. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. We're telling people what they want to hear. I forgot about it.
Well,
today's the day.
Judging by the nature of the question, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a joke. Oh, okay. I
think it was a joke because it's not going to be that easy.
I think they could beat every team in the NFC except for 49ers.
Agreed.
And
can we be honest here? Barring a major injury, is anybody beating that team? I mean, they're scary.
I don't know. I'd have to look at every team, but I'm not scared of them. I just know
nobody's scared, but it's putting respect on their name. Okay, as Omar looks like he's about to have another situation.
I apologize, folks. I'm watching my toddler, and she refuses to take her nap at this present hour. Yes, baby. Come in.
I'll go ahead and answer other questions. I saw one I wanted to answer here. No, that's a funny one. I like it. Exposed hat has to say on one side who's wearing it, doesn't matter. And now you know what? Now we have the opportunity to do that because now we know Omar has an exposed hat. So very well done. I saw one here that I wanted to bring up. And I can't find it. There we go. Gabriel saying like he did in Baltimore. Yeah, the only thing there though, that was week 2. And week 2 football is not the same as week 16, week 17, week 18 football. It's just not the same. And guess what? That kind of game, you can look through the annals of NFL history. That kind of game doesn't happen in December or January. It flat out doesn't. Ohio John, we may revisit that when Omar comes back because he talked to Ramsey. I could not be there. Can you explain why Fangio feels Ramsey shadowing compromises the defense? Do you think this defense could go to another level if you let him do this? So my answer on that, and thanks very much for the contribution, John. My answer on that is, again, as somebody who can relate, Fangio is a little bit older, set in his ways, has had a lot of success with his defense and the way he does things. And it may be that he's like, gang, I know what I'm doing. Let me do it my way, and my way is to not shadow. Now, would it compromise the defense when Ramsey shadows? Not unless there's a stud on the other side who's going to get favorable matchups because of it. And with the Cowboys, the other receivers who I think are a lot better than Omar does, there's nobody anywhere near a CeeDee Lamb. And basically, key number 1 on defense is don't let CeeDee Lamb beat you.
Okay, but here's my challenge to you on this question and issue, okay? When you have 2 studs at cornerback on the outside and they're stationary, what does the offensive coordinator do?
Okay, since we've addressed this the last 2 days, let's make this and try not to repeat the same thing. Let's make this very quick because we've already discussed what you and I would do. Because the answer to your question is they're going to attack the slot. And we've already established if X is right, have wherever Lamb lines up, whatever cornerback is on that side, have him shadow him. If he goes in the slot, Ramsey takes him. Question is, again, is X close to being right? If X is not close to being right, or he's going to play at less than 100%, then hell yes, stick Ramsey on him.
Oh, stick Ramsey on him the whole game. Yeah, I'm only concerned about when Cater is on him. Now, I can totally agree with you, especially when you don't have 100% X. I'm fine with that. And here's my thing. Will it bruise anybody's ego if Jalen shadows and takes him wherever he goes? There's a possibility he could. Now, do you care about bruised egos if you're Vic Fangio? Not really, because you don't care about how anybody else feels about anything. So, but also I think Vic Fangio does not want, because it's not just about Cater being attacked. These linebackers are going to be attacked as well, and they play a lot of zone. So you could potentially be messing with the integrity of his defense and the spacing of his defense.
Important point to add to that particular point you just made is that the Cowboys have a very productive receiving tight end in Jake Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe he's related to Blake, because that's Reed, the long snapper from Buffalo.
So here's my compromise, and we both have said what we would do.
Correct.
We would not have Cater defend him.
Correct.
In the nickel. If Lamb is going inside to the slot, then Cater's going outside somewhere else. And I'm putting one of the higher end cornerbacks on Lamb. But how about we have a compromise and have Ramsey shadow him on 3rd downs and in the red zone? But
sold.
I don't believe that Vic compromises, though, which is, I think, part of the issue that we're having here.
Except he has shown, remember, this whole thing is like, I don't like blitzing, and all of a sudden we've been seeing.
Yeah. But understand, that's a compromise. How did you get there? He didn't like twisting and stunting either. Then they started doing it, started having success. How did you get there? You understand what I'm saying?
Because I don't think, dude, Vic's not stupid enough to be like, okay, this is my defense. This is what's going to be the entire year, and I don't care. I mean, this is part. You remember McDaniels talked about yesterday about making adjustments throughout the season to the offensive game plan. Well, it works both ways. So I think, and even Fangio said himself that as the season progresses, he incorporates more things into it. And I don't think he's stupid enough to be that stubborn. Like, this is my way, damn it. I don't want to shadow, and I'm not going to shadow. I don't care if CeeDee Lamb lights me up. I don't like shadowing.
Never know with Vic.
I have too much respect for Vic. Vic likes my hat, is too smart to be doing.
Listen, and you two are two peas in a pod. So I get where you're speaking on behalf of him. But that's my thing. If Lamb does light you up, your players are going to light you up.
Oh, absolutely.
And how about you just be preventative? Say, okay, Ramsey, you want him on third downs, you want him in the red zone, he's yours. But every other play, let's stick to what we do.
And by the way, Omar, I took great offense at you suggesting I don't have the ability to adapt and adjust.
This whole podcast is an adaptation and an adjustment. Yeah. I want to humbly apologize to you because you have shown that you are so willing to adapt and adjust. And I thank you for that.
My Lord. Okay. MBOT Networks. Poop, what would the playoff scenario be if the Dolphins happen to go 0-3 in these last 3 games?
Ooh, here it goes. Let's go.
You sure name's not Debbie Downer? Wah, wah.
Come on, Poop. Give it to him because I know you know.
Happy holidays. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Thank you very much, and thanks for the contribution. Here's the thing. There are scenarios, and I haven't broken every single one down with every single permutation. The Dolphins go 0-3. They conceivably could be out of the playoffs entirely. If they go 0-3, that means they finish 10-7. My best guess is, and it comes down to them or Cleveland for that number 5 spot. Cleveland's currently 9-5. I think Cleveland would wind up winning the conference record tiebreaker, which puts the Dolphins at 6, which means they play the 3 seed. Assuming none of the AFC South teams, because the AFC South teams, they get 3 of them at 8-6. I'm going to assume that it's not going to be the winner plus somebody else, both at 10-7. So I'm going to assume the worst the Dolphins would be the 6th seed. Although, again, conceivably, if everything goes bad, they could be out. So my best guess is they would be 5 or 6, depending on what Cleveland does. If they're 6, they play the 3, which in this case, we're assuming Baltimore KC would be 1-2. Then you're looking at, but I'm still going to think Buffalo's going to wind up being 11-6, and then you have the winner of the AFC South, which cannot be better than 8-6. So you're looking very possibly at going to Buffalo, which I know Omar would love.
Oh my God! So you're telling me?
No, again, there's massive amounts of permutations because there's so many teams involved.
I told you got to beat you got to beat your daddy. This is a legacy story. You got to beat your daddy. In order to do what you got to do and achieve what you got to achieve, you're going to have to beat your daddy.
And that's all they need to do. They beat Buffalo and nothing else. They win the AFC title. That's all they need to do to win the AFC title. But again, this was a scenario presented as in the event they go 1-3, which obviously.
Boy, you just ruined my day.
Yeah, that would kind of. See, I have admitted that I enjoy watching Josh Allen, and you like have this.
I love Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. I think he's one of the most phenomenal quarterbacks to watch. And I'm sorry, like I didn't make the rules. Like Charles Clay dropped the win for him in his the 2 times he's lost to Miami. Charles Clay dropped the win for him, and he ran out of gas the other time on a needing to score a touchdown to win the game.
They also left point on the field, and he had maybe one of his worst throws ever. He has like right before the butt punt for the safety, he had a 4th down where he had, I think it was Isaiah McKenzie wide open in the flat, and he didn't set his feet and literally bounced it to him.
Yeah,
but they left point. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Isaiah McKenzie, by the way, has a barbecue restaurant walking distance from my house, who just recently got basically kicked off the Indianapolis Colts. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
him and another player, Tony Adams, I want to say, literally got kicked off the team, suspended, violation of team rules, of conduct detrimental to the team, or something like that. With 3 games left, and the team like in the midst of a chase for a potential division title.
Well, what'd they do? Fight?
I don't know. I haven't read the details of it. I just saw, and they literally they removed the nameplates from the locker room.
I gotta hit up Stephen Holder. Find out what the juicy gossip is.
My good friend Steven, good dude.
Yeah.
OG Highway, love OG. If we're in our Super Bowl window, how long can we stay in the window, and who's ultimately responsible for keeping us in this window?
You want to go, or you want me to go?
Oh, this is good. You go. You first.
Only one person responsible for keeping you in your Super Bowl window, and his name is Brandon Shore.
Interesting answer.
Woo, it's gonna be a lot of bills. It's gonna be a lot of bills, a lot of big fat checks Steve Ross is gonna have to write. He's already selling a percentage of the franchise, preparing himself to write those big fat checks. Steve is never going to cry poor, and he's never going to not do what it takes financially to win. Okay. But they got to get real damn creative when it comes to these contracts and making things financially work and fitting it in and wedging in deals and retaining players and restructuring Jalen. And here's the checklist of things that I think are probably going to have to happen. You're going to cut Agba. That's a layup. You're probably going to cut or shake down Jerome Baker. You're probably going to try to shake down and attempt to force, but ultimately have to cut Xavier Howard, because Xavier ain't letting you trade him, and he ain't letting you shake him down. So players will demand to be free agents, just like Brent Grimes when they tried to trade him to the Arizona Cardinals. And Miko basically said, F y'all, we not reporting. Release us. If the Cardinals want us, they could bid for us when we're a free agent.
Except you have to have the juice and be in a situation to demand that. I mean, is X really going to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why is he not in a situation to demand that? You're not going to trade a player without guaranteed money and think he's going to show up just because you feel like it.
And then he doesn't get paid.
Oh.
So that's the thing. Is he willing? Because Brent obviously was willing, or they made it seem like they were willing to be like, okay, fine, I won't play anymore.
Yeah,
that's their only card.
No player, you're not trading for a player who's. If you want to trade a player, okay, without any guaranteed money, you're going to have to revisit that contract and put more guaranteed money on it for me to be happy about this. You have to. You're not trading a player willy-nilly unless there's guaranteed money on the contract.
Except technically, if he's under contract, if he doesn't report, then he forfeits them whatever money he had coming to him.
Oh, well.
Okay.
You were already going to cut the contract anyway. Like, they want you to release me. Release me, put me on the market, let me do my dirty work.
Okay. And so, go on. We're getting sidetracked here. Go on with other moves.
No. And that just gets you to baseline. That doesn't even address Christian Wilkins or re-signing players or addressing what you're going to do with the offensive line. You still got missing pieces. Obviously, Connor Williams is a lot cheaper now. That doesn't even address enhancing or improving your roster. It doesn't address extending Javon Holland because he's going to be making pennies on the dollar. And he's probably not going to show up or report to camp on his current contract. That doesn't address. You don't really have to worry about Jalen Waddle and Jalen Phillips yet. But you got to restructure Ramsey. You're probably going to have to restructure Sealer. You're probably going to have to restructure or actually revisit Tehran's contract, which is guaranteed for next season, by the way. But maybe if you revisit it and make it favorable for him, you could lower the cap number, guarantee him more money if he wants to continue to play. You're probably going to have to revisit Raheem's contract. So Brandon Shore is And it's going to take a Herculean effort and a lot of check writing.
Correct, but they have a guy who's willing to write the checks, and so you don't think. See, to me, it's like, yeah, it's going to take a lot of gymnastics to get it done, but I'm of the opinion that he's going to get it done. Where the bulk of the major pieces for this team are going to remain. So, and my answer, I hate to single out. I don't want to necessarily single out one player, but you know damn well. See, because to me, like for example, offensively, I have said the one player who makes the Dolphin offense special is Tyreek.
Yeah, Tyreek's gonna restructure too. By the way, I forgot to include him.
No, correct. And on defense,
and he's gonna remain the number one highest paid player and in wide receiver, and then get a big fat check, and then give you some cap relief.
Okay, and on defense, I mean they have like a couple of guys. There's not anybody like what Jalen Ramsey, Christian Wilkins.
Okay, Jalen, but you already got Jalen. He's on the contract. What are you
talking about? Dude, I'm not talking about. I'm away from your answer of the most important person being Brandon Shore, because I am of the opinion that he's going to get the job done in terms of keeping enough of the main pieces to continue the Super Bowl window, for example. So I'm trying to give a different answer than Brandon Shore.
Okay, so who's important?
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. That, like again, to me, the guys who like stand out, the one who makes the offense special is Tyreek Hill. Right now, the two who are making the defense special, I think right now would be Christian Wilkins and Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
Which is why I've answered like in mailbags or on Twitter. To me, there's zero way the Dolphins let Christian walk.
No, you just
they will do whatever. I mean, the guy is like,
yeah.
I mean, he's taken it to a different.
We had a conversation in the media room, and it really just like blew my mind. Somebody said that Christian's more impactful than Sue was in his prime, and I was like,
without question.
I'm like, damn. Is Christian really outperforming Ndamukong Suh when he came here as the highest paid defensive player in the NFL? And I'm like, yeah, he is. So why wouldn't you give Christian the exact same deal that Ndamukong Suh got?
Because it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. 6 for 110. You think Christian's taking that?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Sign him up tomorrow. Then do it tomorrow.
Let me just double check because
that's not $20 million a year.
It was like 19. It was pretty damn close when Sue was making.
Correct. I said it wasn't 20. 19 is not 20.
Oh, damn. I forgot. Okay. It is what it is. Christian's going to be all right. No matter what. He's going to get the franchise tag and they're going to figure it out and they're going to make it work. That he will. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind he's going to get the franchise tag and they'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, and this is why I think the Dolphins. I'm not necessarily concerned. What they're going to do is they're going to lose depth pieces. Is that to me is what's going to happen. I don't think your major player, your major nucleus guys are going to go anywhere. That's my very humble opinion.
Okay.
Although X could be an exception if it becomes a dicey contract. Sean, how are you, Sean? Happy holidays. Thanks, sir. Bold prediction.
Yeah, Wilkins. I'm sorry. Quinn Williams got 4 for 96 and really in 66 guaranteed. His real deal is only 3 years. I've broken down every single one of these deals. His real deal, he'll see 4 years, but his real deal is only 3 years. Jeffrey Simmons, 4 for 94. As long as I think with Christian, as long as you beat the Quentin Williams deal, you're good. You're great. It's gravy for him.
Okay, that's more than $20 million.
And at this point, yeah, 4 for 96. I mean, if I'm Wilkins, I want 100 now. I want Chubb's deal now because I'm more impactful than Chubb. So
without question, completely agree.
So he he's got the leverage at this point. You've given him the leverage. I mean, are you willing to argue that Christian doesn't have the leverage?
Not willing to argue that. I'm willing to argue a lot of things that I can't.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
willing to argue that we should move on to our
Christian is going to get the tag,
I,
and then fans will think that the team has the leverage, and Christian's going to be like, "No, I have the leverage. I still have the leverage." You disagree?
what's he going to do if they put him on the tag?
Play
Refuse
the
to
tag
sign him?
out, and then become a free agent next year because they're
Okay.
not going to tag you 2 years straight.
Okay, and then they revisit it next week. And if and then if Christian balls out like this again next year, then you break the piggy bank for him. And then it's going to become, do you trust that Christian's going to want to stay here with his buddy Salt enough to where he's going to overlook the fact that you kind of dissed him, and ultimately, you know damn well that money's going to talk. So if they make him play on the franchise tag next year, he balls out, and then they make it right for him financially the following offseason, chances are he may very well forgive and forget. Okay, thank you. Can we move on to Sean, please? Sean,
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy holidays, bold prediction. Dolphins go 3-0. Need week 18 to keep number 1 seed, Chiefs on tail, and beating Bills knock them out of playoffs.
Question for you.
Talk about
If
dreams.
Dolphins go 3-0,
Yes.
anyway they don't get the number 1 seed?
They don't need to be correct. No. They go 3-0, they get a number 1 seed. Because they would be 13-4. The only team that also could be 13-4 would be Baltimore, but the Dolphins would have beaten them head to head. If you lose one game, then KC becomes a problem because they have 5 losses and they get every tiebreaker.
I ain't worried about that. Let's go 3-0.
Okay, sold. John, sold. We agree.
Like you know what's at stake. If you don't go 3-0, you're not getting the number 1 seed, and ultimately you got to win 2 to get the number 2 seed. Number 2 seed's always been my realistic goal. You know, I don't live in fantasy land. But worst case scenario, which I'm always prepared for, is it comes down to the season finale against Buffalo, and you let them win the division, and then you have to back into the playoffs, and then you'll play Buffalo in the first round.
And then let me point out the other scenario: the Dolphins can get the number 1 seed at 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
If their one remaining loss is not against Baltimore, and if the Chiefs lose one of their final 3 games against Las Vegas on Monday, against the Bengals at home on New Year's Eve, or at the Chargers in the season finale.
Yeah, that's happening.
I mean, Cincinnati's played tough even without Joe Burrow, but still, I kind of get the feeling Casey's going to wind up 12-5 because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Where we at questions wise?
That's
a puzzled look on your face.
No, we got some more here. Let me.
I do want to acknowledge one person, JC Norville. Thank you for your contribution. Best Dolphins info in the business. We love you too, JC. Poupard, I followed you since Dolphins Digest. Look at that, a man giving you your props.
I like it. I appreciate it, JC.
Omar, since you cover the Dolphins, and my first Twitter follow in 2009, when we didn't know what we were doing. We did not know what we were doing. I have I ever told you a story about how I got on Twitter?
No, go for it.
Okay, it's a good story. Literally, me, Ethan Skolnick, who you guys know from 5 Reasons, I believe Dave Hyde, Ira Winderman, we were summoned into the Sun Sentinel offices for these bigwig marketing meetings, gurus, blah, 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 blah. You know, muckety mucks that travel from company to company within the Tribune chain, and you know when you run a big corporation, there's these big marketing firms that are brought in as consultants, and they're paid $10,000 to come in and tell you how to do your job better. So these guys were hired by the Tribune to convince us Twitter is the future. It's going to run the industry. We need you to be a pioneer. We need you to get on it. We need you to do it. We need you to learn it. We need you to teach it to your audience, because it will take over media. At the time, only people using Twitter were soccer moms. What they were using it for, I have absolutely no idea. To tell each other what to bring for soccer practice. And then they literally sat there with us, created our accounts, forced us to put on our blogs a video teaching people what Twitter is, and why it's beneficial for you, and then basically handed it to us on our phones and said, okay, guys, just figure it out. And that's literally what we did. And that was the Twitter wild, wild west back then.
And look at you now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Twitter's been good to me. I like Twitter better than all, in all different mediums have different things. Like Twitter is Facebook. I don't like Facebook. No offense to those who do like Facebook. It's mainly for old people and people trying to. Ouch. Yeah, people.
Can you take out the knife?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like for old people trying to hook up with their high school flames. Like, Instagram is just for girls to send thirst traps and just absolutely just whore themselves out, and for men to lust after them. Twitter actually serves its purpose, which is the dissemination of information. And since Elon took it over, it's also got a huge porn element to it too, which people, you're like, porn is on Twitter? What? Yeah, you clearly have never gone to the for you aspect of your Twitter, which is.
Well, for me, I'm not a TikTok and Instagram person. For me, Omar, I'm on Facebook, where I actually used to post my stories on there. I've stopped doing that because by now I figure people know where to find us. It's a very good tool for me.
Why?
To stay in touch with family folk.
Okay. Yes.
Up north who are not Twitter people. So like the life developments and stuff like that. That's how I kind
of. That's how you find out people had a baby and stuff like that. See, I use that Instagram for that.
See, so. And then to me, Instagram is like, I don't like Instagram.
Facebook is just like the dark hole. If I go on Facebook, I'm down a rabbit hole for an hour. It's like, oh my God, this person's from high school, and this person, I can't.
And not for me. And also these days now, there's a whole bunch of Far Side comics that crack me up every single day. So, I'm going to try not to. It's the holiday season, so I'm going to be as polite as I can here. I got Game New Jersey. Chubb just got AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Did Christian ever do that? Again, happy holidays. I got Game New Jersey, but my Lord, is that a bad take? If you've watched every game from the Dolphins this year, and you can tell me with a straight face that Chubb has been as consistent, as productive as
Put Christian. It in the chat, people. Who's more productive?
More power to you.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Chubb has gotten hot for maybe 3 games this season. Christian has been hot every game.
He's played well. The other one's been like an impact elite. I'm going to use that word for Christian Wilkins. He has been elite this year.
Damn.
Lewis Collins, Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Omar, whatever happened to the security guard who was the big Dolphin fan that you used to post on Twitter?
I don't work for the Sun Sentinel anymore. I've been meaning to check. I think he's still there. I remember those posts. They became pretty viral, and I like them too. I love that the Dolphins. I can't remember his name now, but the Dolphins actually gave me like a whole bunch of paraphernalia for him, and gifted, like, they loved it too. They loved him, and the reason I did it was because it chronicled just the casual fan. And everybody, we're supposedly experts, and you guys love your team, but he was just a casual fan. So watching the Dolphins on Sunday was his enjoyment, his release, and man, were they sucking that season. And I had to tell him, this is for a cause, man. This is for a cause.
07?
Huh? Yeah.
Is it 07? Oh.
Yeah. No, it was 19. It was 2019.
Oh, okay.
Because it was the tank for Tua year. Yeah. And I had to introduce him to Tua, and he learned Tua was special. And then, then Tua got hurt, and he was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, I did it every single week. And, Cliff was his name.
Cliff. So there were the Cliff notes. Thank you. No, Q, aren't the next 3 games a referendum on McDaniel's abilities as much as they are Tua?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. They're going to win and lose based on their team performance and how they play as a team. McDaniel is already playing with one hand tied behind his back. And
also because of the injuries?
Your offensive line and Tyreek Hill, that's not one hand tied. That might be 2 hands tied behind your back.
He might play tomorrow. And again,
he might play at 70%.
Did you or did you not, my friend, at one point say something along the lines of, I don't want to hear about
got you with me?
Every team. Sorry. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
You trying to play got you with me?
Every team has to deal with those.
You're right.
Okay.
But every team doesn't have to play without Tyreek Hill at the most critical point of the season. And yes, every team has to play with a injury decimated offensive line. But injury decimated offensive line with every offensive lineman hurt? Like, I know the Jets have gone through it.
Yeah, I can go got you again here, but I'm not going to. It's the holiday season.
Go for it. Go for it. The Poupard fans would love it.
Did you not say at this time of the year there's nobody who's not hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I'm playing with an injured left tackle. Injured. He's not injured. I'll let Lester Cotton, the backup, be fine. An injured center. An injured right guard, because Robert Jones is injured. Robert Jones lives with a limp. Austin Jackson, an injured right tackle, an injured swingman backup, a center who's been here for all of 4 practices, and Keon Smith. Like,
what about Keon Smith?
Yeah, and Keon. No disrespect to Keon Smith.
No. It doesn't sound like there's any there.
No. I'm not disrespecting Keon. Teron Armstead said Keon is his son. He is my oldest son. I am grooming him. He's good. So, hey, Keon might have to play at some point. Keon might have to play.
Absolutely. So no, my answer would be taking the wimpy way out and let's see how the games play out. It depends how the games play out. I think at this point it would have to go massively south with being out schemed clearly to the visible eye the next 3 weeks for anybody to be able to have any doubt about what Mike McDaniel is as a coach, considering what he's done already so far since arriving in Miami. So yeah, not sure. I don't think it's a black and white issue of yes, these 3 games are referendum. No, it's not. Diedrich, thanks, sir. 2 after 1 p.m. scares me. The game is at 4:25, and it's a big game. 2 things Tua doesn't do well. I can only remember him playing big late week 1. How many late games have they had? If you were talking the primetime games, he was perfectly fine, solid in week 2 at New England. The Sunday night game against the Eagles was semi-shaky, and what was the recent night game they had? Tennessee. Didn't play great, but they were really tough circumstances with Connor Williams leaving the game in the middle or early in the first quarter. So, yeah, I'm not buying the premise. To be very honest with you. Don't think the time of game really matters. But let's see. Oh, yeah, Jeff, thank you for pointing that out. Over 800 in the chat, only 115 likes. That hurts. That hurts, especially in the holiday season like this. Dana, Christian Wilkins actually started the season off slow because he held out. Yeah, the first 2 weeks, maybe 3. Okay, so he's been completely balling for the past 11 games. That one's not debatable, gang. Christian Wilkins has been an absolute bear, and Zach Sealer has had a great, fabulous season, and it's gonna get lost because Wilkins next to him has been like next level. Whoa, man. Pete's takes Dan Quinn isn't going to fall for the eye candy stuff. Cowboys clearly going to beat us. I'd say 38-13, to be honest. We need plan B, like Arande Gatson said, ASAP. Oh, harsh. Wow, this one hurts here. Bro Talk, you guys are filibustering like Mike. So it's a funny joke, but how that hurts. Negative Nelly Omar Kelly. Okay, I thought that was a negative one. Maybe we're both negative. As I am scrolling down here, Mateo, thank you very much. Merry Christmas present. Chargers over Bills. Yeah, wouldn't hold my breath with Easton Stick playing quarterback, but you never know. As Herm Edwards once said, that's why you play the game. I just put up a comment, Omar, saying for a Merry Christmas present.
Come here.
Chargers over Bills.
Oh, say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I mean,
say hi. Hi, Poop.
Hi, Poop.
All right. What do we got from a question standpoint?
Yep, I'm looking here. I'm going to glance very quickly. Those are the actual questions as opposed to comments. I just made the points. Chargers beating the Bills. Probably not happening. One can hope, but the Chargers are a completely hot mess. Oh, and by the way, since somebody asked, Sebastian Joseph Tay, somebody asked in a mailbag that was posted today on alldolphins.com, which includes an answer, which I encourage you to check out, dealing with a Tua-related myth that I wanted to touch on. I'm sure you guys will read it and go, that's right. You're spitting facts.
What is the Tua-related myth?
I'm sorry?
What is the Tua-related
myth? We want to discuss it here?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, answer this question from James first, and I'll go into it.
I grew up a Dolphins fan. I'm a South Florida native. I love my South Florida team. I grew up at Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, primarily the Miami Heat and Miami Hurricanes first. Dolphins probably were third. So
there you go. Okay, so we want to go there.
What is this myth? Tell me the myth.
The myth is Dolphins fell apart because Tua was out of the lineup last year. That's the myth. Now, do you want the evidence? Here's the evidence. So this was an answer to a question asking, would Dak Prescott have the same level of success in this Dolphin offense? And okay, the Tua myth last year, and national talking heads who should know better, who should do their research, immediately go to the quick, easy stats. And by the way, I encourage somebody look at the tweet last week from Chris Long from his interview with Kevin Clark of Omaha Production. Excellent journalist.
Kevin Clark is with Omaha Productions?
Yes, he is.
Kevin Clark was my protege, right?
Yeah, no. Kevin Clark is very, very, very good. I know he's become a star.
He's well trained by me.
There you go. Well,
I didn't know Kevin Clark was it.
Oh, yeah, no, he's big time. Okay, so he asked Chris Long his biggest gripe with the media, and he said basically it's stats without context. And if you've been following this podcast long enough, how many times have I used that phrase? So I was like, preach, brother Chris. So the point, the Tua myth, which is, and again, I'm going to preface this as I have to every single time. Tua's having an MVP type season. He's become a very good quarterback. He's a perfect fit for the offense. The offense is a perfect fit for his skill set. All that said, this notion that the Dolphins fell apart last year because he was out is garbage. And I'm going to tell you my evidence. And by all means, you guys can chime in the comments. The Dolphins were 1-3 without Tua in the game last year. Correct?
Yeah.
Right, Omar? Okay. Omar, what did Mike White say was the hardest thing to do? I'm going to preface this like this. The hardest thing to do in football.
Step in there and come in and immediately get play when you're no practice.
Okay. Evidence Exhibit A. In the 3 losses, the Dolphins had a injury-related mid-game quarterback change.
Mm-hmm.
Against the Jets, Bridgewater went out. Against the Vikings, Skyler went out. Against New England, Teddy Bridgewater went out. The one game where there was no quarterback change, lo and behold, the Dolphins won that game. They beat the Jets. However ugly it was 11-6, but they won. Exhibit B, in those 4 games Tua didn't play, the defense did not create one single solitary turnover.
Mhm.
0. Don't think that doesn't make a difference.
And they were on fume from injuries. Yes.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Exhibit C,
Okay.
who was by far the one player on offense last year who you could not lose. Last year, not this year. This year,
Tyreek.
last year wasn't Teron Armstead. Okay, was he close? Was Teron close?
Yeah.
Because-
I mean, Toronto was number 2. Yeah.
Okay, Teron Armstead played half the first quarter against the Jets. Didn't play against the Vikings. Didn't play against the Patriots. Didn't play against the Jets in the season finale. Exhibit D, for those who are so quick to dump on Teddy Bridgewater and what a garbage quarterback he did, and why you could clearly see major drop off.
You know, I'm not in that camp.
No, I know that. This is for fans. Again, and that comment is out there, and you know it's out there, despite the fact it was a very small sample size, correct? Well, if it's such a smart sample size, I'm going to use that short sample size to throw out some stats at you. Teddy Bridgewater played 128 minutes and 40 seconds of game time, actual game time, which if you do the math, 60 minutes per game is a little more, slightly more than 2 games. During that time, he threw for 683 yards. That projects over a 17-game season to 5,414 yards. For those who say Tyreek Hill, wouldn't produce without Tua, with Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback.
Is this evidence E?
Yes, I'm Exhibit E.
Exhibit E. Jesus.
Okay. Tyreek in the games, strictly from Teddy Bridgewater, 18 catches, 309 yards. In the amount of game time, projects over 17 games, 142 catches, 2,443 yards. So again,
are we on Exhibit F now?
No. In conclusion, this is my final argument. No, Teddy Bridgewater is not as good as Tua. What I said last year on another show was I did not believe the idea that there would be a dramatic drop-off from Tua to Tyreek. With the numbers and the evidence I have just presented, I now rest my case. I let the jury decide.
I acquit. Like one, I would have never made your jury pool, because I don't agree with the premise that you're arguing against. So they would have thrown me out anyway. Yeah, I don't think the Dolphins flatline last year only because they didn't have Tua. Now, they didn't have Tua and Teddy. No,
and this goes to the other point. In the playoff game, the offense was a hot mess.
Yeah.
And they lost only 34-31 because guess what? They got 3 takeaways on defense plus a 50-yard punt return. Those things make a difference. And it wasn't strictly Tua's out, Dolphins suck.
I would have never said Tua's out, Dolphins suck. I would say the offensive line issues compounded and got worse in that stretch, and the defense wasn't playing with any kind of consistency or chemistry in that stretch, and you didn't have good enough quarterback play in that stretch. Okay. That's not all Tua. And I think defenses caught up to Mike McDaniel and what he was doing, and he didn't evolve enough.
Yeah, but that speaks to the end of the season slide with Tua at quarterback. My whole premise was that this notion that, again, the offense completely falls apart without Tua. I'm not on board with that. Sorry, and then that makes me a Tua hater, such as life. And I'll give you another one. If I really wanted to be a smart ass, me? Never. If I really wanted to go there, you do realize Mike White has a higher passer rating than Tua this season.
Don't do that. All right. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, okay. I take it back. You're
going to hit the hornet's nest, and you don't want
never mind.
you don't want it, so don't do it.
You know what? I'm gonna.
You won your case. Don't have it thrown out.
The verdict overturned.
Don't have the verdict overturned. Yeah. Is Claypool not allowed to play in the red zone?
Not allowed to play anywhere, apparently.
He played. They pulled out some Claypool plays. Like, it is what it is. Play time is determined by practice performances, guys. Mike McDaniels clarified that, and Mike McDaniel flat out said Cedric Wilson had been outperforming Claypool in practice. What more needs to be said?
And there are guys who are simply not good practice players, and that's in every sport, and that happens.
That's true. Cameron Wake, I will argue till the day I die. Cameron Wake is not a good practice performer. Yeah, but he gets real violent in a game.
Noel says I'm a glutton for punishment. Yeah,
you are a glutton for punishment. You won your case. You did it respectfully. The defense rests. Then the defense got up and said, "F you."
Oh no. It wasn't that harsh. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like being a smartass.
Why don't?
Not the first time. Not going to be the last time.
This gentleman, Tyler. Oh, I'm sorry,
Tyler. No, we have a super sticker from. Let me put it back here.
Super sticker.
Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead. Put yours.
I said Tyler asked, "Why don't I work at the Sun Sentinel anymore?" I left the Sun Sentinel to go work with I Am Athlete. Worked with a narcissist, crazy person who basically ran his company into the ground. Ran a company that made millions, and when I say millions of dollars, into the ground. He ran a company that was a pioneer of the podcast game, completely into the ground, to the point where it doesn't exist anymore. Congratulations to the Pivot, the guys who are smart enough to actually leave him and realizing that he was crazy. I was hired to rescue him and save him. Then I realized there was no saving him from himself. Lessons learned: do not work for crazy people and narcissists. And then when I got back in the game, Poupard told me he loved me and wanted to make me his baby. He wanted to be my baby daddy. And I was just like, all right, let's have a baby. So we're here.
That's funny. That's genuinely funny. No, it's exactly how it happened, though. But the way you told the story was great. But here we are. That's the bottom line. Here we are.
All right. St. Eddie McDaniel said that he scripts the first. Oh, Eddie, come on. We doing this? Okay, Eddie. All right. And if you did not watch that, and I'm going to encourage Poupard to cut that whole thing up off the Dolphins website and put that on our All Dolphins channel, where McDaniel basically explained in detail how he creates his game plan and how he thinks in the process. I have never heard a coach explain it and be so detailed before. But anyway, let's answer the question. Even just his thought process on 3 variables of plays to call, and this one I'm going for this, and this one I'm going for this, and this one I'm going for this on each play. Like, it was phenomenal. McDaniel said he scripts the first 24 offensive plays each game. Do you think that Fangio also scripts plays, or is a defense a more of a reaction in terms of play calls? Defense is absolutely more of a reaction in terms of play calls. They have a package of blitzes that they work with. They have packages that they work with in short yardage situations. But basically, it's determined by the personnel that comes onto the field each play. And you do have a game plan of how you want to play people, how you want to attack people, how you want to attack a quarterback, how you want to play from a coverage standpoint, how you want to pressure. Like you might, if you're looking at, let's give you an example. If you're looking at the Dolphins, any defensive coordinator who looks at the Dolphins and doesn't say, I'm going to attack Liam Eichenberg and I'm going to put a nose right over him and try to collapse him all game, they're an idiot. So you have to attack what an opponent's weaknesses is and what their soft areas are. And Mike McDaniel does the exact same thing offensively. He will attack the weak link on the defense, and he will attack a player's tendency. That's how, when you watch that Hard Knocks, when Mike McDaniel's like, yeah, this is 60. This is a one play shot right here. We're scoring right now. And he was completely arrogant about it. It's because they had built something, they had set it up, and the Jets, he knew the Jets defensive coordinator, he knew the caliber of the player, he knew what he called in that situation, and they had a play exactly to attack what he called in that situation. All Waddle had to do was get open, and all Tua had to do was throw it accurately. And if he did, it was 60. and he called it, and he delivered. But so that's defenses. They can't go into a game with a script of plays. They'll have blitzes that they've worked on all week, and that's about it.
Completely, it's what you said. It's completely dependent on the personnel groupings the other team comes out with. Good buddy David Triana relays that Michael Gelkin I believe he works for The Athletic, reported that Tyron Smith is out for tomorrow. Not surprised. He was listed as doubtful with a back injury, and when you have that combination, and their backup, I just looked, is Chuma Idoga, who's got some starting experience. So, and he'll be going up against Bradley Chubb. Zach Martin looked like he was on track to play. He's obviously a very good offensive lineman. So, again, not just the Dolphins who are dealing with offensive line.
Yeah. Every just about every team is dealing with all, except for the 49ers right now. And they had it last year in the playoffs. So it's 3 games to go. You never know. Offensive line, it's a survival sport, man.
That is true.
Sheba, when did Tua carry the team? He's never carried the team. Hope that addresses that. Sorry, we're trying to find questions.
Correct, exactly. I mean, and there are a whole bunch of comments, which I'm certainly not.
Where's Claypool in the red zone?
That's funny here.
Listen. Oh, okay, you got one. What does the baby look like? I'm still carrying it. Come on.
Did the baby come out?
It's only been like, what, 9 months? Like,
we went to work fast. Sorry.
That was funny. Isaiah Wynn. Poop. Isaiah Wynn coming back.
Oh my Lord. You guys let that one go. Not happening.
Dude, I see Jerome Baker after practice every single day doing his rehab assignment, working his way back. Trust me, it's Jerome Baker who's going to be back. Isaiah Wynn was never coming back. Guys, if we okay. I want to say, don't like consistently repeat things if you said them. We generally will go through it and look at it and address it. And we have addressed where's Claypool in the red zone. So, John, you don't have to say it 10 times because it makes it harder for me to find other things. Where's Claypool in the red zone? Claypool is not outperforming the guys that are playing. He is not outperforming River Craycraft. And maybe it's because he doesn't know the offense, whatever. This team don't care. You practice well, you play. Like, they don't care. So you know what you have to do.
Finn's up 126. Anything in that bottle, Poupar? No, I'm drinking a bottle full of air. Yes, it's water, actually. And by the way, in the glass I had here, that was iced coffee. So, and if you really want to know, I was at worst ever with an occasional red wine drinker. So no, if you find my takes to sound like I'm completely smashed out of my mind, that's why I say what I say. I don't have that excuse. Sorry.
Yeah, and I don't drink. I'm a social drinker, but I don't like to drink. I'll drink in social situations. But yeah, it gives alcohol gives me a migraine. What about bracketing Lamb? What happened?
I'll finish your question. What about bracketing Lamb? If he goes in the slot against Cater, that's another possibility without question. And that may be what they wind up doing. It's a good question, Stephen. Vic's going to come up with a plan. It's not like it's a great mystery that CeeDee Lamb's the guy that Dak Prescott's going to look to for most of the time. And we're going to be, if you have like really pertinent questions, go for it. When Omar comes back, we're going to be on the verge of wrapping this up. We've been going at it now for, looks like about almost an hour and a half, which is a pretty good amount of time. And I'm looking for like specific questions, not comments. When is the last time Armstead wasn't on a weekly injury report? Again, I could go through my papers here very quickly because I have
We've
printed
been
out
on the injury report all season, so don't even bother.
every single week, right?
Every single
Oh,
week.
yeah, that's right, because he started the year on IR. So.
Listen, it is what it is. Like, stop. You want Teron Armstead at 70% is better than 90% of offensive linemen. So what? Like, I really don't get that. They get the issue.
Okay, this is a good question. Media's negativity of the Dolphins with the same narrative having beat an above 500 team. What besides that is another reason to doubt? Two quick points. Number one, it's not a narrative; it's a fact. The narrative would be they haven't beaten a team above 500, therefore they can't. That would be a narrative. To say they haven't beaten a team with a 500 record, that's a fact. And besides that, is there any other reason to doubt? No.
There's no reason to doubt, but there's a great reason to continue to talk about the Dolphins and talk about them negatively. It draws ratings. It draws eyeballs. It draws social media viral moments. That's why you get the talk. And Steve Ross loves it because he'd rather be talked about than be irrelevant. So,
got to go with this one. Kyle, fun Expos fact: first MLB team located outside the U.S. Pupar, do you recall the year? Kyle, if you know me, and obviously we don't, so nice to meet you, Kyle. I'm hardcore Expos fan. Saw the first game they ever played on television when I was young, but not young enough that I didn't realize what was going on. And the day, I can even tell you the date, forget the year. I can tell you off the top of my head, it was either April 8th or April 10th, 1969. The Dolphins won 11-10 at Shea Stadium. And trivia question, the first home run ever hit by an Expos player was a relief pitcher by the name of Dan McGinn. So, yeah. 1969 was the year. Mercenary. Oh, I like that. That's good. Does Tyreek reach 2,000 in y'all's view? Got to average like 154, playing on less than 100% of an ankle. I have a hard time seeing it. The dude's amazing, and don't know that it's wise to put anything past him. I have a very hard time seeing it. And that even if the Dolphins like win their last three, wind up getting the top seed, and let's say Tyreek finishes with 1960, to me, I don't buy this notion that for him to be seriously considered for MVP, it's got to reach that 2,000 mark. To me, the impact he has had, not only with the numbers, but also what he does to opposing defenses and the space he creates, to me, would make him MVP worthy. And I get the Dolphins put up 30 points against the Jets without him. That was one game. So because you can counter that with the fact that the offense looked like crap against Tennessee without him. So the question is not, could the Dolphins ever have success without Tyreek in the lineup? They showed against the Jets they could. Could they have consistent success or anything like they've had? That's debatable.
Tyreek is not reaching 1,000 yards. 2,000 yards. Elliott, he's playing. He's probably out of concussion protocol today.
No, he's out of concussion. He was full yesterday. He's out of concussion
No,
protocol.
Mike Daniel said he wasn't.
That was before.
Okay, all right. That was before practice.
And one or two more questions, Omar, and that's
yeah.
right.
I mean,
we've been at it for an hour and a half.
Yes. Why doesn't the team use a two tight end set? They use a two tight end set all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they use a fullback and they use a two tight end or a fullback and a tight end more than every team in the NFL, but the 49ers. Like, they use it all the time.
I like this question from Raphael. Will the Dolphins sign Cam Wake to retire as the Dolphins?
They'd love to if they could find him.
Correct. And I don't think Cam's the type of guy who's into that sort of thing. He should be in the Dolphin honor roll. He should retire as a Dolphin.
Cam has fallen off the face of the earth.
Yep.
And he likes it and wants it that way.
Correct. Okay, Omar, I think we're going to wrap this up. I have some presents to go gift wrapped.
All right. Hold on. True Fin fan. Omar, so the cap exists? No. The cap doesn't exist. It's monopoly money. What happens is if the cap did exist, Steve Ross wouldn't be able to play this shell game and buy players on Who Dat coins and continue this dog and pony charade. Let me give you a perfect example. We're almost done. The New Orleans Saints, we talk about Who Dat coins all the time. The New Orleans Saints every year is annually a ridiculous amount of money over the cap. They're $87 million over the projected cap for next year. Somehow, some way, they always find a way to get where they need to be, and then they do it all over again. It's not real. Like, your owners just got to be able to write really big fat checks. And Steve Ross is willing to do that. How long? We'll see.
Okay, last one.
All right.
Jeremy, thank you, Jeremy. Great job, gents. Love the show. Hey, Omar. Go ahead. Loved your comments, Doug, about supporting him as he goes through a tough season. How did he respond?
He thanked me for noticing, and he admitted that it's been hard, and he knows he could still play, and he'll get his opportunity. And right now he's enjoying winning, and he's enjoying his teammates and being there for his teammates. So he's just enjoying the ride. And that's all you could do in certain situations, and keep cashing your check. So
it makes it a lot less painful.
Yeah, I'm sure the pain numbs just a little bit when that direct deposit hits on Tuesday. Yep. Just a little bit. When that $700 and something thousand he gets per game hits on Tuesday, I'm sure the pain just numbs just a tiny bit. So, but it's I recognize the players who it's been hard on. So, all right, folks, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming and joining us. Thank you for watching it. I would encourage you to check out the Behind Enemy Lines with Clarence Hill, and check out our latest episode. And we will be back tomorrow. What time after the game?
Right after the game. Right after the game.
You want it right after the game?
Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. Right after the game.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, damn. Okay, right after the game. Absolutely. No question. All right.
Put down alldolphins.com also to read it.
Damn it.
Oh, see, you got to come back. There you go. Alldolphins.com, where you can read everything for free. No paywall, no subscription required. Don't even believe they ask you for your email address.
No.
So
we just have nothing but stories. How many stories up today, Poupart?
Yeah, today's a slow day because it's kind of the holiday and it's a weekend. So
what's a slow day?
Three so far, and there'll be one more.
All right. See, look at that. All right, folks, we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow immediately after the game, as Poupart has demanded.
Mm-hmm.